Good night, student. We are looking at the file. This concerns the interview. And the first page is discussing the 5 points. I had already reviewed this with you all. I'll just quickly review those points. You have the introduction, where you're going to introduce yourself. You have an opening question that you're going to ask. Then you're going to ask further questions. You would have closing remarks, or you would probably have a final question. Then you would have your conclusion and your recap. This was the initial format. I have since double-checked this, and this is the latest development. Now, as you see, I'm scrolling up, and what you realize is, let me just make this adjustment here. Right. What you're noticing is that this is the guideline. So first you've got the introduction, and this is where you introduce yourself, you introduce the show. You then welcome your topic and your guest. You will welcome your guest, and then you state your topic. You would give a short background about your guest, basically his role, position, and so on. Establish a theme. Now, this is very important. This is the guiding principle behind the interview. When I say establish a theme, I'm referring to the issue surrounding your interview. For instance, if you're interviewing a student who is about to write exams, the issue is the student. The issue is exams. Because you are interviewing someone for a tournament, that is one of the issues. So you're going to write that down. It's basically a statement. Okay? Then you're going to have your opening question. Now, this opening question sets the tone for the interview. It introduces the audience to the chief role of the person. Then you're going to ask the further supporting questions. These supporting questions, for the most part, would be about 3. These help to develop the topic, and depending on the interview, you can have less than 3 or maybe more. But for your purposes, your main focus really will be on 3 supporting questions for the most. Then you're going to have a final question. This is the last question, which basically sums up the interview. Right? It sums up the interview. Right, sums up the interview, and it may focus on future plans. Then you've got the summary. This summary is a closing statement, and basically it's a short recap. This summary could entail any use of the theme earlier established. Right? You would then have a final salutation and ending. On the following page, you have a sample. Now, what I will do is scroll accordingly so you can see all of the rest of them, because from where I'm looking, they may not be as visible as they ought to. So here's your sample interview. Here you have your introduction, and you are introducing yourself. You are welcoming the person. You are stating the affiliate station, right? You're introducing the person, and you're stating what role he is. In this interview, you're interviewing a football fan, and you have an additional piece of information in which he happens to like the house. Again, the established theme is that you're interviewing a fan, and the fan loves his house, and he wants to see them win the competition, and that is from that theme. This is where your questioning is going to arise. So then you have your first question that you're going to ask. Obviously, he's a fan. Obviously, he likes his house. So this is one of the main questions you're going to ask to introduce the interview. Then you're going to move on to the other supporting questions. You're going to discuss in these questions by asking, you're discussing the chances of their team winning. You're going to discuss by virtue how he feels about the other teams. And I have put the third question in, I've highlighted in yellow. I have highlighted it in yellow so that you can see that that's an optional question. After you've established the information that you want from the person whom you're interviewing, you ask a final question. And then this final question basically points to a future. So you would ask, for instance, well, where do you see the team going from here? And that's just an example of a question you can ask. When you finish then, and you've gotten the answer, you summarize the interview. And here you would state, again, you review who you've been chatting with. And of course, you give him his salutation. And then you make your own salutation, referring to yourself, and closing off the interview. All right? Now, just lastly, I have not included it here, but I'm just showing you this. Here is a list of people that you're going to interview. All right? The list may not necessarily be complete, but we're going to start with the principal, move down the ladder until we reach to the people who have placed. This will be after the competition. What I'm going to do, for further reference, I'm going to include, it's not included here, but I am going to include a schedule. So you will have your schedule. I hope this assists you in your work in doing the interviews. When I see you, we're going to discuss our approach to the interviews and who you're going to start with, and we're going to deal with the schedule of interviews. Okay? So until then, thank you.